Want to rise above what holds you back? These are the stories of those fighting that battle. It might also be the story of you. I'm Dan Waldschmidt, author of Edgy Conversations and strategist of billion-dollar companies all over the world. This is Mark Minard, author of The Story of You, the guy who knows a thing or two about never giving up. You're listening to Elevating Beyond. Let's get started.
They got me losing my mind.
Mark Minard, the visionary behind Elevating Beyond, presents a groundbreaking live event, Minutes with Millionaires. This elevational event is for business owners, leaders, and their teams, as each of our speakers bring extensive experience mixed with real and raw emotion. Learn how to lead through the chaos, manage your stress, create massive new revenue, and get your hustle on. And for the first time ever, a 2-hour interactive Q&A session. We're talking massive truth bombs.
No one would invest in me. First of all, you've got to go and do whatever it takes.
Do what it takes to get to where you want to go.
If I want something I have never had, I must do something I have never done before.
Do what you love and make it big.
Cold, cold world, and I'm losing my mind.
Go to markminard.net for more information and to order your video now.
Move. That's all.
Let's get a question before Super Millennial gets it from anyone in the audience.
Any questions in the audience? Don't be afraid. You got it? Yeah.
Why did you think the mic would work? No one told me.
I held it too.
Because Mark tried.
Because 4 of us have ADD,
yeah, we just go
we all
off.
constantly interrupt each other, so it's the best way that we can do it.
That's pretty much
We're
what
trying.
the whole
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What's the one thing that keeps you up at night? Let me ask each of you.
Thinking about these two.
And who are they in relation to you?
Little sister, mother.
It keeps you up at night?
And let's ask
All
why?
the time.
Why?
Why?
My father knows. Why? I worry. I
Why?
worry constantly. Her health, her age,
And do you know that,
and my father all the time.
you know, worry's a fear energy. I'm going to tell you
That's right.
something.
I know.
Energy works like this. What you hold in that cage, right? It's called the law of mind. What you hold in that cage, what you think, you create. What you hold in that cage, what you feel, you attract. And what you hold in that cage, right? What you imagine, you become. So if you're going to hold worry and fear in that cage, you're actually metaphysically drawing that in. That's why if we're angry, do you ever notice if you're angry and you start the day angry, everybody else around you becomes angry and you attract more angry things in? Because that's the way we're wired. So you must step outside there, and it's another energy stepping outside, it's courage. And you need to know that they're taken care of, because you're not doing anything for yourself, because you're putting yourself in this very low zone energy. Does that make sense? Yes. I hope I didn't go too deep over everybody's head, because sometimes that happens with me.
Greg has something, and
That's
I'll
what
follow it
happens.
up.
So that's what happens. You have
What
to-
I would say is, the woman who worries died. The woman who didn't worry died. Instead of worrying about your mom's health, think of ways that you can help your mom's health. Mom, can we go for a walk in an air conditioning place? Instead of worrying about your dad or your sister, how can I help the situation? It was storming the other day, right? We could worry, or we could say we're running like Dan to go to the inside. Stop worrying and figure out how to, anything in life, if you can find a solution to it, you won't worry about it. Ask yourself, how can I help my family?
Can you know or not? I was worrying all day that day too.
Can I
Don't worry.
tell you something too? Worrying and being up all night is not going to help them. The only way you can truly help them is to let that go and become the best version of yourself, as hard as that is. I know I was worrying, like when my sister left my company and she went to Ethiopia and she's running an orphanage and she's not getting money, and I'm worried, oh my gosh, I'm making more money, I'm feeling this false guilt. And then I wrote my book and I'm thinking, what if it's taken all the attention for it? And it wasn't helping anyone. Then it started inspiring her. At first I was getting a lot of pushback from them and resistance. Then it inspired her to want to write a book by seeing how I continue to become a better version of myself. I got an echo, man.
Yep. Okay, whoops, I guess I'm in our live version here. So maybe, do you mind if I could, what keeps you up at night, if you don't mind me asking? Does anything?
Yeah, I'm very scattered.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of interests, a lot of creative things I want to do, but I don't seem to get all the way to the end of one before something sparkly, and I go after that, and I never quite circle around to finishing things.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me up.
You and me too, girl. You and me too. Yeah.
Squirrel.
Yeah, yeah. I'm right now. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What
keeps you up at night?
Well, I think for me, especially lately, my husband's getting ready to retire from the military.
Yeah.
We've got this one to put through college. She only wants to go to MIT.
Yeah. Awesome. That's exciting.
For our business,
yeah,
I'm constantly trying to think of ways that I can make it better, faster. I'm a solopreneur because he is still working. He's not able to put time into the business as much. So I'm constantly trying to figure out ways I can get more clients in, keep things going, survive on 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night, all of the
So you got a lot on your mind.
Yeah, it's like the weight of the world, because I can't shut down because there's too many things spinning.
So I'd love to talk to you in like 30 days if you did what Bill was saying in the morning, where you had you time.
Yeah.
Just you time,
and
you just
I get up early, but I go right to work.
Yeah, you just and then
personal development.
You just took a couple minutes, even in the middle of the day, to whatever you want to call it, time for you, meditate. I guess is the word I'm going to use with an app or something for 15 minutes, where you literally just sit. Just do that for 30 days. Don't change your diet. Don't even change. Just sit for 15 minutes and then come back. And I would love to chat with you in 30 days. And I bet it would be radiant. How, the worry, I can see it in your face too. All the different things you're thinking. What about this? And what about this? And what about this? And then you realize I'm enough. I'm going to figure it out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Be awesome.
That's right.
What about you? What's keeping you up at night?
MIT.
Yeah, she's trying to figure out.
Yeah, she's gonna.
I guess just thoughts and being curious.
Like overthinking.
That's awesome.
Well, also that,
What
and
about all the chips in the bed?
and I'm here sitting on my hand.
Lindsay.
Like what? Like thoughts, like overthinking and worrying, or.
Not really that. I don't really got much to worry about. I'm really young. It's just I constantly think about this thing, and that thing, and that thing, and this thing. What about
Isn't
this?
that awesome?
What about that?
It is awesome.
Like, it's the most random thing ever.
See, and this is mom. This is you. This is you, girl.
Yeah.
This is.
She's my mini.
Do you know what's awesome?
was-
This is possible for you too. It's possible for all of us. I'm working on it. I'm at 38. I've got another decade before I reach some of my friends here who have more experience than I do, and I'm eager to grow and evolve and become that guy. But this is what's possible. I see people who it just goes through them. It's almost like they're a screen door instead of the door, and I'm the door, and I'm trying to like stand up against everything. And these guys are screen doors, and they're just letting it go through them. But I see this is what's amazing.
Well, see,
No
she's
fear,
also wanting
nothing.
To start her own business.
Yeah.
And help
Do it.
Pay for her college, and
Yeah.
I sometimes feel like maybe I put a little bit of my too many things on the plate on her,
But it's crazy. But here's what's funny: she doesn't even feel like she doesn't even feel like she has those. Look, we've got
She's the
dozens.
calmest one of the family.
Yeah, we've got dozens of questions, right, from people asking these questions, and it sounds like you're not even encumbered. You're like, I'm going to MIT.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
start a business.
I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna.
This-
Can I?
It's a
I got
perfect
the mindset,
example.
stop talking
Perfect
real
example.
Dan,
Yeah. What?
can I talk for a second?
Oh yeah, sure. It's your show.
This is your event.
I mean, it's my ADD. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah. So something that is tough is, as a parent, we have to realize our responsibility. We want to help our kids. We want to do everything for them, but our responsibility isn't that to raise them to be good kids, but to raise them to become good men or women of character. And sometimes it's just like with the monkeys and delegating, you've got to let go and watch from a distance and let them really grow through it.
I'm experiencing that with my older one back here. You know, she's 21, so I see her making young decisions, and so it's hard as a
I like that
mom.
adjective.
Yes.
I love that. I love that adjective. That's a choice. That's a smart mom right there.
I'm not saying to completely get out, but also
Smart mom.
you got to give the and also what helped me when I went through all that, I would overthink. All of us here had what they would have called ADHD. You and I are 38. They diagnosed me with that. Every smart person is, every entrepreneur, like we said, is a little insane. You have to be to create something like this event that has never been done before. It's insanity to say that we could all be doing this. But it's you're overthinking what you think is, that's also what is going to make you think differently than everyone else. And I used to be like you. I'd be up all night. I'd think, what's wrong with me? I used to overthink everything that I said to everyone. And I would overthink every conversation. And I observed things differently. And Greg, you and I were talking about it. Now we observe things differently. And that's what makes us successful. Like, I'll go to events and I'll study, I wonder how they hired those speakers. Oh, they catered food there. I wonder how much. And I'm thinking from they got that lighting. I wonder what that costs. And I'm looking at like from the 360 standpoint of how they run the whole business. And like I'm always observing and studying. And that's our ADD used like as a weapon.
I see that in her, like,
so that's a blessing.
she's always curious about the
That's a blessing.
No,
That's a blessing.
So,
That's a
I'm
blessing.
going to tell you something that I don't know if you want this advice or not, but I'm going to be honest with you, okay? Now, I have 5 kids. I've raised a lot of kids, so they're all growing up. And I'm going to tell you something. If you want your kids to be successful, it's all about you. You need to learn to become a little bit selfish. And when you hear that word right away, you think, oh, I can't be selfish. That's it. And I'm going to tell you something. And that's why you're up at night. That's why you're stressed out. And that's why you're in anxiety. You have to be selfish. Nobody's more important than you. Not your children. Nobody. When you can do that and take care of yourself that way, you're not going to be up all night. And as you grow, they grow.
That's right.
That's how they grow. They don't grow by you holding her back. Mm-hmm. This one's a tiger. You can see it. I've been around a long time. You have to be selfish. Yeah. You have to take care of you. Nobody's more important. That time in the morning is your time. Nobody's more important. Not your client, not your husband, not your kids, not maybe your dog. But not that, my dog might be more important. That might be. But my son will tell you, there's nobody more important than me. Because you know what my greatest legacy is? My greatest legacy is I broke the string of abuse. Amen. My family, my kids have never experienced abuse. And they're all becoming successful. Nobody in my family did that. I walked away from my family to be able to accomplish that because I knew when I had my oldest daughter, I couldn't help them. I was selfish.
Yeah. I
was selfish. You got to be selfish.
And you told me you drove all the way here today, and that's
amazing.
Is it okay if I share that?
Yeah.
What you told me?
That's okay.
Because you were struggling with anxiety and stuff so bad. You said you hadn't even left and driven on your own.
20 minutes away from my house.
And you drove from another state to come to this event.
It's your time.
And your daughters are both watching that.
It's your
time. And actually, I
time.
want to give you a round of applause for doing that and coming here. That's right.
That's stepping out of the cage.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you can do this.
Two things I would say. One is, when we're playing battle, we shoot the general, and the army doesn't know what to do, and you're the general.
Yep.
And so we have to keep you safe, right? Because you're the most important person. I think this is a mom thing.
Yeah.
My wife does this, and I see this with a lot of even female leaders at high executive levels. They want everyone else to be successful, and that's a magical quality. It's so magical. But there's a certain point where you have to say, the better you is a better everyone. And a better you, it's not just one, you're multiplying. And so
It's your tribe.
that's awesome.
And that, I tend to do that with my team too.
Yeah.
I put sometimes a lot more effort into what they have going on than my own stuff. So I'm learning
Yeah.
to step back.
You let them do things
Yeah.
you wouldn't allow yourself to do. Isn't that funny? They'll do something and you'll be like, that's
And that
okay.
stops
But
today.
you won't do that to yourself.
That stops right
Yeah.
now. That's
Yeah.
why you drove here.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
You set that intention. It's never going to be again.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, in 30 days,
30
you'll see
days,
a
yeah.
shift. I promise you.
Yeah.
In 30 days, you'll see a shift.
Yeah. Second thing I'll say is this. Someone told me this. Water cuts through stone.
Yep.
Not because of its power, but because of its persistence. You don't teach water to flow. It flows. And so in our lives, when I find that I'm running up against an obstacle, it's because I'm usually not flowing. I've got something financially, physically, mentally out of whack. And so to flow, and this seems crazy, but for you, you're flowing. You're flowing. You're MIT. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Listen, you should be just as flowing as your daughter. There's no reason. Yes, you have bigger budgets and employees and all this kind of stuff that you feel like is stopping you from flowing, but you're just as powerful as she is. You have just as much opportunity and you have more experience. And so that's the part. And it sounds foo-foo when you give someone advice to say flow. It sounds almost like you're a Bruce Lee sort of, just flow.
That is Bruce Lee, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I know. Yeah. But that's it.
Flow is when things come natural to you. What you're doing is, when I talk about energies, you're trying to force your life. And there's these lower energies, and that's a force. You're trying to force things to work. I gotta get this to work. And what happens is, force brings in more force. When you let go, and you start taking care of yourself, and you start working from a different energy, and just kind of let it all come. And what Dan told you is absolutely right. I will get up and I have that morning routine. At noon, I stop and have a routine. Yeah. Before I go to bed, I have a routine. You've got to break yourself. I'm going to put that mic. I got it. I'll give you the mic. All right. So you've got to just let it go.
Yes.
Let it go.
But try one thing, seriously, because we're giving you 20 things.
Do
one thing.
Greg was next.
Just try
one
to
thing.
I just say, Wendy, you're a woman. You're a mother.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. I'm sure the woman behind you is the same way. But you're on an airplane, right? We flew. Mark and I flew in. What did they tell you? Oxygen mask come down. Don't put it on your baby. Put it on you first. Because if you're struggling with her and she's fighting, you're both dying. Save yourself. It's not being selfish. Is not being selfish. It really. Oprah Winfrey talked about that. You have to take time, because mothers and women, they're managers, they're psychologists, they're preachers, they're everything. They're business owners. Yes. So you have to say, like, she wants to go to MIT. You know what? We talked about this yesterday, because you know my wife. And we say, you might have tough love. You might have to say, hey, you go to MIT, you got to raise the money. We don't have the money. Yeah, we don't have the money right. There's tough love.
It's awesome.
But you got to say, because if I say this, when I spoke to BPW, Business Professional Women, I hit all 449. I didn't hit the 450 because she was 21 years old. I said, how many women here have put their dreams on hold because of a man or a child?
Everyone, right?
Except for that one, because she was 21. She hasn't lived through anything yet. So
you can't do that.
You have to say, like Bill said, this is my time.
This is your time, baby. You got to rock it.
That's why a lot of women do wake up early.
Yep.
They say, because I have the time, the kids aren't up yet at 6 o'clock to go to school.
That is when I'm the most productive. I get the most work
It's your time. Well, working in corporations, when I speak in corporations, the high executive women all live in guilt. Here they work, they climb the ladder, and they live in guilt. Why? Because they're away from their family.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to understand that you have to take care of you, because, listen, you're done. You did a great job. It's their time now.
That's right.
It's their time. Let them fall down. I let David fall down on his butt.
I'm giving you the mic right now. It's the air mic. It's the air mic. Yeah. What do I do that?
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you.
You got this.
This step of coming here, because it's not easy putting yourself on that hot. This is in the mastermind. We call this a hot seat. It's warm, isn't it?
I'm in the hot seat.
And I didn't know that she drove to Buffalo Wild Wings. I didn't know she
This is awesome.
doesn't like to get out. I didn't know that.
That's awesome.
She was just driving. Almost hit a couple trucks head on, but that's.
So where are we going?
We
Question?
can go to the next one. I still have
do some
something
rapid
for you
fire.
after, but
All right. What was it like getting into the writing business? Writing business.
go ahead. Whoever has
Books,
the mic.
authors.
Don't do it unless you feel. Don't. No, there's no saying.
Who's got the mic?
Who has
Who's
the
got
mic?
Somewhat
Go first.
facetiously. is I would say, look, only write a book unless you feel so passionate about it, you can't not write a book.
That's right. You don't write a book to sell.
I hear people say, I want to write a book so I can be credible. Be incredible, and then write a book.
That's right.
And I think that's why the quality of books is.
I have a story.
Can I rattle your cage if I go first?
Of course.
Am I going to take you out of the green zone?
Do it.
All right.
I'm good.
So Dan and I just talked about this. People write us all the time about, I want to be a speaker. Do I need to write a book to be a speaker? And our answer is maybe, but no. Don't do it if you're only doing it to be a speaker. Just like they said, I spent years, I lived something that I had to write about. I needed to share it. I wanted to help people through writing my book. It's a hard process. It's one thing to start a book, it's another thing to finish it.